This is how to install a 4-foot fence using 5-foot stakes. The posts are called garden posts or T-posts, and the fencing material is called welded wire, and I'll talk more about all of that after I show you the installation. You can start by marking the line along which you want to run your fence. That is, of course, assuming that you want to follow a property line or you want to keep your fence straight. If you don't care about either of those things, then you can skip this step and you could head straight to marking your fence posts every 4 to 6 feet apart. The instructions will tell you to go every 4 feet, but you can get away with up to 6 feet depending on how sturdy you need your fence to be. Mine is just keeping my dog in. It's more of a psychological barrier than anything, so I went every 6 feet. Initially, you can set your post by hand, and then you can drive it in using one of these things. This is typically referred to as a garden post driver or a T-post driver, and there are several of these available on the market. You basically need the cheapest and lightest version available, and that's plenty sufficient to drive your posts in, especially when the ground is soft like it is during the spring. You want to bury the post 1 foot deep so the top of the flag is barely visible above the dirt. Don't do this. I can't even hit it. The point I'm trying to make is go ahead and buy one of these post drivers. They're not that expensive, and in my case, they saved me a lot of time and potential embarrassment and injury. So here are all of my posts spaced out 6 feet apart, and you'll notice that even though they're going up an incline grade, they're all perfectly straight up and down. If you have 2 people working together, you can have one person holding the level and the other one driving the post in. And here I am proving a point that even just by yourself, you can still kind of do it. It's not perfect, but it works. That's a level stake. Unrolling the fence material is the part that I found to be the trickiest. I wasn't able to work any more than 2 or 3 lengths at a time because the fence material gets pretty unwieldy and just difficult to manage once it's unrolled. It's easiest to unroll on the ground and then stand it up into place, but then once you get it up into place, you kind of have to walk it forward as you're unrolling it, and these rolls are pretty heavy, so you just have to kind of work with it. Here I'm clamping the fence material into place on the posts temporarily before I can fasten it permanently, which I will show you in just a minute. So you notice the stakes have these tabs on them, and theoretically these tabs would line up with all the cross wires of the fence. You would slide the fence kind of down into the tabs, you would smash the tab shut, and it would hold the fence in place. But that's not how it really works in the real world, because you've got changes in elevation, or you might not have put all the stakes in at exactly the right height, and they're just not going to line up. So what I do is I take these are post wire clamp thingies. They're called post fasteners, and this is what they look like when they're installed. I put the fence material on the back of the post, and then the fastener slips underneath the tab, and then the fastener itself has a couple tabs on it. One slips around the back of the fence wire, and then the other one slips over the top of the fence wire. Little pliers help do the job, and then I crimp it down into place so that it's secure. You want about 3 of these fasteners per post, distributed evenly top, middle, and bottom, basically as close as you can get to the top and then to the bottom, wherever there's a tab within proximity of a crossing wire. These lined up perfectly because they were right kind of at the hook part of the fastener, but sometimes you do have to wrap it around a couple times to make it a snug connection. Or, if you don't want to mess with any of that, another option is zip ties. Basically the same principle here, top, middle, and bottom. Find a nearest tab, slip the zip tie into it, tie it as tight as you can around the back of the fence, and then you may just have to kind of smash that tab on the other side so that the zip tie doesn't slide out of it up or down. Zip ties, of course, are not as strong and potentially prone to breaking, but this is not the type of fence that's going to withstand a lot of weight anyway. When you're ready to stretch to the next post, just put a little bit of tension on the fence to take out any of the slack, and then you can re-secure it with these temporary clamps before you fasten it in place permanently. When you get to a corner, you don't even have to make any cuts. You can basically just wrap the fence around it and then keep on going.